All right, well, it's weird. It's like I gotta wait. Do you hear that click? As soon as you hear that click, then it'll go back up. It's weird. So I don't know if that's something in the switch. Could be. But works. So does the driver's side. So now I just ran that wire across. But in all fairness, and as I have said before, this is about me making mistakes. I also didn't have the motor plugged in from when I put it up with the battery. So I think that's why nothing worked, up or down. But I don't think one of them would have worked without the power, because I hooked it back up the way that it was, and it didn't work. It only worked one way. So that still needed to be done. But, yeah, sometimes you just can't fix stupid, and I didn't hook up the motor. So, but it's hooked up, so now I just got to get that wire run up underneath and over there, and we'll be good to go on that. All right, so today's job, we're going to work on the fuel sending unit. So I put another 5 gallons in, and I noticed my fuel gauge kind of bouncing around a little bit, like it wants to work. So I'm hoping that that's all it's going to be. We can get that out, we can get it cleaned, and get it working. So we are going to work on that. So the first thing we need to do is make sure we got to disconnect the battery, because we don't want any electrical at all as we're working around that gas tank. So we will get that fixed first. All right, so we got the fuel sending unit out, and you've got this little nut here. There was this little piece on top of it, so that came off. But if you notice, it's not just a screw thing. So what I'm going to try to use is actually, if you remember, I used this on my back window hatch. So that should fit down in there and go over that, and I should be able to get that screw out. All right, so we now have that apart. So these are the wires and everything that need to be cleaned. And hopefully that will help. So it looks like everything's together. We're just going to have to clean all this up just with some carb cleaner is what I've been watching. All right, there we are, all back together. But this little piece now is really kind of loose. So it's like it fall off real easy. So I don't know if that's something happened to that, and since I cleaned it, it's not all gunky around there anymore, but it's not staying on there real well, and I don't think I'm gonna put that back on there, just because I don't know what purpose that would serve, but I don't want that falling off in my gas tank. So we're gonna leave that off for now. Well, that's not good. Cleaned it. Can hear the float moving. That should be full. As you can see, the gauge is still down there. So that didn't help. That didn't fix it. So maybe there's something wrong in the gauge itself. I don't know. But I tested the wires. I tested continuity from here to there before I put it all back together. I just don't know. Alright, so here I am driving, and it's sitting at 1/4 tank. I know I got more than 1/4 of a tank in there, but it moved. So I don't understand what's going on. It kind of was growing little by little. I don't know. Maybe if I drive around some, it'll help. Alright, well, I just put another $5 in, and now I'm at a half a tank, so I guess it does work. I guess I was only at a quarter of a tank. Thought I would have had more in there. But the gas gauge is working. Success. Alright, so I've decided I'm just going to go ahead and start doing it. I need to get rid of these drips. And I just need to get the car sanded down, buffed, and cut and polished. So I'm going to work on getting the drips out first. And then we're just going to lightly sand the car with like 2000 grit. Just real lightly just to get the nubs off. And then we'll cut and polish it. And we'll see how it comes out. But I think I watched some more videos. I think what happened on the other side was I was too hard with my sandpaper. I didn't let the sandpaper do the work. I pushed too hard. So we'll try a little different here. But we'll start working on these drips because these are definitely the worst ones. Okay, so we have sanded the whole car with 2000 grit. It's much smoother. It's got orange peel. I'm not going to go down any further. I'm just going to try to cut and polish. All went pretty well, except for right back here on this corner, so you can see where I kind of, I took the razor blade to the drips, and one of them chipped as I was doing it. So a little bit of the paint came off, so I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to handle that, but I'm going to start cutting, and then I'll polish. This side was a little bit worse, but I tell you what, just that 2000 grit, I mean, everything is just smooth. I mean, there's some rough spots. I guess I could maybe do a little more there. But for the most part, it definitely smoothed everything out really, really well. So maybe I'll do a little bit more here, a little bit there. So we'll work on that, and I'll cut, and then I'll polish. All right, so there it is after the compound. It's better. There's lots of orange peel on the hood especially, but I don't want to sand. I'm just not real comfortable sanding anymore down, so we're just going to leave it like that for now. Maybe I'll sand a little more at some point in time and put another coat of clear coat on it. But the drips back here, they're still there. You can still see them, but they're not nearly as bad. But once again, I'm just so terrified of scraping down too far. So the car is definitely a lot smoother. Everything is a lot smoother than it was. So we'll just go ahead and we're going to polish it up, and we're going to leave it like this for now. I'm so scared of just getting down to the paint and ruining the paint job for right now. So we'll just leave those drips as is. They're just not quite as noticeable. And we'll go ahead and polish her up. Well, there she is, all sanded, cut, and polished. And the badge is back on. So, I don't know. Something happened here while I was when I was using the compound. I don't know exactly what that is. But it came out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I think I got some wax still on it. I gotta try buffing out maybe a little bit better. But yeah, it came out really nice. I'm happy with it. I mean, the runs are the runs. I don't know if you remember, but this over here, this came out, this little bit of orange peel. One of the things I looked at when I looked at polishing and everything the car is when you're using the compound that you want to go slow, because you actually want to heat up the clear coat, and it kind of melts it and it gets rid of some of that. So that definitely helped with that. And this down here, this was the scratches and stuff that were there. That definitely helped with that. So that's all I'm going to be doing on that. So we can take that stuff off the list. And polish and paint, that took a while. So those are the 4 things I still have on my list. I do have a little bit of an oil leak, but I think it is from the filter. And I think I over-tightened the filter. So I am not going to do anything about it right now. When I go to change the oil, that's when hopefully that will solve that problem. I'll just keep an eye on the oil. It's not a huge leak, but it's definitely making drips. But what I can see, it is coming from the where the oil filter goes onto the oil housing. So I think I over-tightened it the last time because I really cranked it down. So, yep, I think we are good to go on the outside. Oh, I got to put the windshield wiper or windshield washer things back in now. And then that should be it for the outside.